I wanted to make curved text in Keynote, but realized that it didn't have that. I looked online to see if there was a way to work around that, but couldn't find a way that I was willing to do, like download an app, or that looked good enough. After waiting for Apple to add curved text through a software update, or maybe someone else figuring out a way to curve the text, I decided to find my own solution. It's not easy, hence the pain in the arse PETA name, but it worked. I'll show you how to do it by making my thumbnail design. I will start by using this circle as a guide. So the pain in the R's part is that you have to curve each letter yourself. So I have to get a text box for each letter. So that's a C, U, R, V, E, D, T, E, X, T. Oh, something went wrong. I'll just put it here so I could see it better. So the good part about that is that it leaves room for creativity, whereas a preset curve text option doesn't. So I'm gonna curve this. I'm gonna put this somewhere. I'm just guessing that this is where everything's gonna end up. There's like no, I have no formula for where it goes. I use the text box, and then I just put each letter where I think it might go. So, you know, there's no hard, fast way to do it. You're going to have to move it again anyway. Okay, so I'm thinking that generally it will end up here. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually curve the letters. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to go to the Arrange tab, and I'm going to use this. I will move this a little bit closer. And the trick that I learned is that so here, this is where you want to go. You want to use this button, the rotate button. And this part seems a little bit complicated, but it's not as complicated as initially seems. I use the outline of the letter, this thing right here, the square box. I use that to kind of like serve as a guide of where the letter would stand if it was on this part of the curve. And that always makes it easier. Oops, I used the wrong one. Sorry, not that one. All right. So here you want to use this one. And if you see this square part right here, you just got to imagine if this letter was standing on this part of the curve, where it would stand. And that kind of like gives you like a general idea. And you just have to arrange it a little bit. So as you can see, the square is like perfectly in line with that curve. And then I'll go here. I'm gonna guess this is gonna go up a bit. I moved this when I tried to fix the thing. And there's a lot of adjustment to this. It looks a little bit I'm messing up a lot because I'm trying to teach you how to do it. So as you can see, the square is perfectly aligned right along this curve part. I'm guessing the R is going to end up here somewhere. I'm just guessing once I get everything. So I just move a little bit closer and then I just match this up. I think that's pretty much okay. I'm guessing this V is going to be here. And then I just do that. And the square is perfectly standing on here. I'm going to move this a little bit closer so that I can see. So as you can see, it doesn't look like it's exactly standing on there, but that's a little bit better. And then I'm going to move that. And you just got to go through and do each one, and that's why it's a pain in the arse. All right, and I'm going to move this a little bit closer so that I could kind of see where it's sitting. It's a little bit tilted. All right. So the X is pretty easy because either way it's going to look like an X either way you put it. And that looks like it's pretty much okay for now if that's where it ends up being. I probably should have curved it the other way instead of going this full circle. Okay, I'm going to move just a little bit closer to see. Okay. And again, I'm just lining up this with the edge of the circle as if it was just standing up on it, or upside down in the case of these letters. So once you get the approximate position, it's time to figure out how big the letters have to be to fit around the circle. So for a circle this size, I'm going to guess it's going to be in the hundreds, but I might be wrong. You don't have to do this part individually. You could just, I'm holding down shift and just going through each letter. And then you go back to this text box. And I'm just going to start off at 100 to see where it is. I'm going to go higher. I'm going to do 150, see if that curves it around there. All right, I'm just gonna arrange it to see how it look. Is my R? Oh my gosh, my R is an F. I think I did something to my R. Okay, there. I just closed it by accident. So if you make this mistake, that's all I did. I closed the box by accident. And then you just, work around it. I think 150 is pretty good for it to look like this, to look like it's a curved text. I'm just going to arrange it a little bit to an approximate position, and then I'm going to fix it. So after I get here, I know this X needs to be fixed. So I'm going to go and do that. That seems about right. And I'm just going to move it here a little bit because everything looks a little bit tight together. And that's really the hardest part, the initial part of like doing each letter and then finding out where it should go to be curved, and finding the positioning. And pretty much you could do this with like, and that's why I say it leaves room for creativity, because you could do this with any of those shapes. Like you just using any of the shapes that I got from here as your guide. So it's not just curved, you could make it this square or something without having to download an app. So as you can see, this is do this the right way. So now they're bigger. You see all I'm doing is lining this up with the edge of that, and the T looks like it's standing up, upside down kind of, on that. So once, I feel like everything's tight together. But this is just to give you a general idea. I'm a perfectionist, so I will be here for hours trying to make it look perfect. And I know you want a short video just to get to the point. So I'm going to stop. But you get the general idea of what you need to do. Just pretty much arrange it so that way it looks like it's curved. So yeah, so this needs a little bit more spacing out and everything like that. But you get the general idea. It looks like a curved text. So you adjust the letters around the circle to fit the way you want. Of course, you could always do more work on that, but I think it's like that gives you the general idea of what you need to do. And like I said, it was tedious. And when I tried to figure out how to do it, but showing you, even though that looked a little bit complicated, you could see that it's a lot easier. Like if I wasn't recording this video, I could probably have done that like a lot quicker, because I'm also looking at notes while I'm doing to make sure I get through everything that I want to get through. All right, so that's how you do that. But yeah, it gets easier once you know how to do it. So here's how a curved text preset looks compared to this manual curved text that I just made. Not bad. So once you do this, you can add all kinds of effects. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna select each letter. So the whole doing the letters individually pretty much happens at the beginning when you're trying to figure out where each thing goes. So you're going to go to this text box up here, and you could italicize. I don't know what happens when you could do that, underline. Look, the X came upside down because I guess I should have curved it the other way. You could underline. You could do all kinds of stuff, like once you get that done. So yeah, so then you could add all those kinds of effects. So one thing I noticed, the real curve text preset I showed you look more like noteworthy. So here's noteworthy. So that's what it would look like, which is closer to the preset, and you see that it matches a little bit more. So noteworthy doesn't have an italicized option, but you can do it manually. I'll show you. So I'm just pressing shift and clicking on each of these buttons. So if you go to italicize, you see nothing happens. So what you're going to do is you have to do it kind of manually. I'll show you what happens if you try to do it all together, because I think everything's just working on its own. Yeah, so you don't want to do that because then it gets all complicated. So I kind of like, this is one part that you have to go through if you want to slant it and do it manually. So what you're going to do is you're going to use the same arrange button, but you slant the letters instead of making them stand up. So you try to use the square guide, this thing, to imagine how the letter would lean without falling on that part of the curve. So that's it. If this letter was leaning over, and you can make it slant as much as you want. So I'm just going to do that. And I think that's kind of cool that you could just manually go in and do that. So all I'm doing is I'm just thinking about, okay, if this letter was leaning on that part of the curve, what would it look like? It would look something like that to me. These letters on the bottom are too, I don't know, something's off. I just don't know what it is. And like I said, if I sit here and figure it out, this is going to be a longer video than it should be. Needs to be anyway. All right. So as you can see, it gives it an italicized effect. And then I'm just going to arrange it a bit to make it look better. So this is kind of curved a little bit more than I wanted it, more than it should be. So I'm just going to slant it up a bit. This V is a little bit too curved, leaning too much. And this R, I think I just adjusted like right here. It should be fine. Oops. All right, so that gives it like a general curved text effect. So here's how a curved text preset with a noteworthy type font looks like. So this is the preset. So the manual one looks similar to the preset. So it's not that bad. You get the same effect, even though it's a little bit more work than just pressing a tab, right? So, and then the other thing is to resize. So if I wanted to make this circle a little bit bigger, you would think like this was gonna like, oh my gosh, be a bigger pain in the arse. But it's actually a lot easier than it looks. So what you're going to do is you're going to increase the circle to the size that you want. I'm going to increase it right here. And I think I'm going to have to decrease the letters a little bit. So I increase the circle to a different size. And then you do not want to do each of the letters individually. And you do not want to move this because it's going to be a pain in the butt or pain in the arse to get it back where you want it. So you're just going to select them and you're going to move it generally around the circle a little bit just to give yourself a guide. And you're going to go to this text box and you're just going to decrease them all together till you get to like the general size. I think that's a good size. So I just decreased the size a bit. And then as you can see, they're in their general position. So you could just move it and arrange it a little bit to where you want it. I think I want this circle a little bit smaller because in the thumbnail design, I need room to put some writing. So I'm going to make it like about that big. And then I'm going to do the same thing again. I just decreased my circle. So this to show you. And because it's bigger, I'm not going to resize it first because as you can see, it's going to be harder to like get the general position. I'm not going to move it first. I'm going to resize it first to get the letters to where I want it to be. I think that might be right. because if I had moved all those letters, it was so big that I can't really get a grasp of where I want the letters to be. So when you're making it smaller, you don't move the letters first, you resize it first, and when you're making it bigger, you move the letters first because you have that option. So as you can see, it's not as hard as you would think it would be. Because that was one of the things when I did this, I was like, oh my gosh, if I want to resize this, I'm gonna have to like start all over. But you really don't have to. So this is the general thing. I'm just gonna make it a tad bit smaller because I need to get that text in. I might not have to resize the letters, and I don't. Good. All right. So yeah, so I didn't have to resize the letters, even though I made the circle a little bit smaller. There is like a gap here, but like I said, if I try to fix it, I'm a perfectionist, so I would be here all day, trying to get it just right for you. And I want to make this video shorter. So that's some of the things. As you can see, I was able to adjust the letters and adjust it to a new circle and everything like that. Um, and it wasn't that hard. It really wasn't that hard. And the next thing you want is, what if you want to do like a semicircle, like in the thumbnail? So if you want to do a semicircle curve, all you have to do is go back to arrange, and you're going to use this flip button over here near the arrange thing. And you're going to flip some of the letters in the directions that they would be if they were in a semicircle. Not all of them need to be flipped. So let me show you. So this, anyway, you'll see which ones need to be flipped. So if I'm going to do a semicircle, I kind of want to move these up a little bit because I don't need them to, do that, like be so close together. I'm gonna turn this back to the original font that I used, since I'm making the thumbnail and not noteworthy. And that was the default one, I think. Yeah, so that one. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this back. I'm going back to the range. Because I want the top edge of the word to be going one way and the other edge to go the other way. Oops. So I'm going to arrange this a little bit more. And it was this way because I italicized it, but I'm not italicizing it, and I changed the font. So I just got to adjust everything to the way it was. Same thing, using the box as a guide. If this was standing straight up on this part of the circle, how would it do that? So there's that. And this R needs to be curved. Rotated a bit. And then I'm going to flip the bottom. So the T's are pretty easy because you could just flip like that. And as you can see, that it flips pretty easy like that. So the X doesn't really need it, but I'm going to flip it because when we did the other underline, you saw that it was flipped the wrong way. But as you saw, it didn't really make a difference. So the E has to be first. So as you can see, if I'm going to do that, I have to change the E and the X around. So with the E, I just flip it like that. So, and then I go back here to the X and I rearrange it because I changed its whole position. So that, I move it closer, just get a general position of where it should be. Okay, so this is a general position of where it would be if I did the curved text. And like I said, this is not perfect because I'm just trying to hurry up and show you this. But you can make it as perfect as you want to be once you get the general idea of this method, this PETA method, as you can see. So yeah, so that's what I did. And so as you can see, the top part is curved this way, the bottom part is curved that way. And I didn't have to really flip much on the X. I just did it because I saw that the underline, if I underlined it, it would look weird. But I'm not going to underline it, so it doesn't really, matter at all. And the flip part will help you. So after I do that, I could add the finishing touches to my design. So this circle is my guide. And I used this sun design, if I could find out where it is. Might be in nature. Yeah, I used this design. And I think I had it in yellow. So let's do that. Just do, and I'm keeping the blue circle there just so that I could kind of like know where it needs to be. So that looks okay. And now I'm gonna get rid of the circle. So that's the circle that I used. And then I did this in Keynote. Oops, I have everything in caps. So I just took my caps lock off Keynote. And let's see, and I just did that 99. And I think I did this in marker font. Yeah, so that's about it. And then I did another text box. And I think I did this in American Typewriter. I think I did that in 29. So that's that. And I just did different colors. I'm not sure what color I used. So to do the colors, just put this up a little bit. Let's see. I'm gonna use general colors. It's not gonna be the same color. And I think I had these all in the same color. So that's that. And I just used this color box that pops up. That was strawberry. And I'm trying to recreate design for you. And I went in here and I went to, so if you go to style, it has all these and you could do like shadows and stuff. I think I did a contact shadow, I'm not sure. I know I did it in white because sometimes you could see it better if you change the color. You could see the effect better. I don't see it, but okay. I know I used one of those. Maybe I used reflection, I don't know. Yeah, okay. So sort of, I don't think it was reflection, but it was something like that. And I used this. Let me change it in white so I could kind of like get an idea of what it looks like. Or snow, not white, right? Snow White. Just kidding. Um, I don't know why I can't get the same one. I used one of those. It's not coming out. I don't know why. So I'm just gonna fake it and use reflection. So you could do reflection. That doesn't look bad. I'm gonna do that for now. It's not the same thing. I just can't figure out which of those options I used. Um, because it came out. I wonder why it's not doing it. Let me try again. So it came out with just a white shadow. I'm gonna get rid of reflection and see if I could see. All right, so I don't know what I did. I did something to get that white reflection. And then to get inside I just did this. I just put another circle in there. So I'm not going to go through the whole design because it was pretty complicated. And as you can see, I don't remember what I did. Um, so I'm just going to do a general design for you. Let's do like, it's ugly. So you could do, I think I did a gradient fill. I think I did that. And like a yellow, something like that, right? Kinda, sorta. So here you find out how to do like a different one. So that's it. So that is how you manually get curved text in Keynote, the PETA method, pain in the arse method. And it looks easy now that I figured out how to do it, but it took a while to get it right. At the time that I'm posting this video, there was no other video that explained it this way. I'm sure that there will be memes, or as the Americans say it, memes soon. But I really figured this out from scratch, so don't give this the duh look. And that's all. I hope this brought some relief to Keynote users who have been looking for years to add curved text to their presentations, like I did, without downloading an app or using some complicated method. So this is pretty much how I got the curved text and added all the effects and stuff. I hope that helps, and that's it for today.